Telewizja Republika, and we welcome in our studio Matthew Tyrmand, son of one of the most famous contemporary Polish writers and political activists, just arrived from the United States, which is a big deal these days, apparently. Andrzej Duda won the presidential election just in July 12th. That was a significant moment. Did you expect that he would win?
I did, as you know, because we communicate regularly. By the way, thank you for having me. I always love being with you, Alex. You're one of my favorite interrogators in this country. Okay. Yeah, no, I expected it. I made the call. I thought that he would have potentially won outright in the first round, if not for the spoilers that were Confederacja. And there was a close margin there. Obviously, the second round was close. I thought it would be on a knife's edge. I think it settled out at 52-48. I did not expect that Platforma would be able to mobilize enough to get a simple majority no matter what the scenario. Obviously replacing Kidawa-Błońska, who is absolutely atrocious politician. I know her, she's an atrocious woman as well. She tried to block Year of Tyrmand out of spite a few years ago. But putting in Trzaskowski, yeah, there was a little bit more energy in the campaign because he is more telegenic and charismatic. But I think that polls recognize that Andrzej Duda had done a credible job. And the most important issue, and this is what I talked about both leading into the election when I did American press and here, is that the most important issue for the president to maintain is, as head of state, the relations, and especially in this situation right now, transatlantic. The European Union is being well handled out of the government, which makes sense given the way Brussels attacks the government. But Duda's relationship with Trump, what they have secured from energy investment to 3Cs commitment and recognition, and of course NATO strengthening and security, and the troop deployments that are coming and that I've been predicting for the better part of the last year. I was obviously very close to people in the White House, and I was there for several of Duda's visits. The telegraphing of the White House to the polls was always, yes, we have your back. Let us do it on our schedule. Let us do it in ways that make sense with our other geopolitical considerations, including not trying to escalate with Russia, which is why there was the schema, the paradigm of moving troops into Western Poland, around Poznan, more than the direct imperative to put them in Suwałki, in between Kaliningrad and Belarus, which might have risked escalation. It's something the Poles were looking for, was more direct troop engagement in this peripheral border region, which is at more risk of incursion. But the Americans did, I think, a savvy thing. Their technology is good enough that should there be a hot conflagration in the northeast of the country, whether it's through Kaliningrad or Belarus, the capabilities of the American military forces and technology are so strong and proficient that they can get anywhere very quickly. So, the movement of troops from Germany is a wonderful optic. Germany's been a deadbeat miscreant on its NATO commitment of 2% GDP. They've been free riding, and it's the most successful economy in Europe, so that makes it an special abortion. And at the same time, here they are undermining EU cohesion and security of Central Europe with Nord Stream 2 and doing a deal with the devil and Russia for their own economic consideration at the direct cost of the security of Central Europe, while they claim to push for more cohesion and everyone should be doing exactly what they say out of Berlin and Brussels. Right. So what Trump has done is very, very good here.
Let us talk about that a little bit later, but the internal Polish tensions and relationships. Now there are 3 years to the next election, so we will have the next campaign in 2.5 years.
Yeah, so finally some peace and quiet. Well, you get the EU, you get the parliament, you do well in the regions, and you have the president's office. So, I mean, thank goodness, no electioneering out of Dobra Zmiana or the opposition for a couple of years. I think Poles are fatigued with it, and the consolidation of all these elections within a 12 to 15-month period is exhausting. So it's actually really nice to see that the mandates were renewed, expanded in some ways, and now we can just have some, how you say, spokoj.
What are the things that need to be solved in the first place in the internal? Polish, yep.
I mean, your viewers, maybe
internal politics. I mean, not only the politics, party politics,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
also the economical things
So
hinging on the
agenda.
United States support and so on.
Well,
so on.
internally, from a political standpoint, the thing that worries me the most, and I think that needs to be cleaned up the most, is the internecine, internal factionalization and turf wars, mostly led by a guy I think is a cretin, Zbigniew Ziobro, who is more interested in his own power accumulation and creating a patronage system, and recruits these young figures that can be his proteges, and they engage in undermining campaigns of the government writ large, with the hope that they would come into some sort of greater control, which I think would be very, very unhealthy for Poland. I think Morawiecki does a very good job, and the people in his camp are far and away, from what I've seen being involved in Poland and a critic of Polish politics for more than 10 years, far and away the most competent people. So you've got quite a few politicians who really are technocratic in a good way, like Morawiecki, like Emilewicz. I believe that Morawiecki keeps people around him that are smart, not just who play the political power game well, which is what Ziobro does. So I see there's a new media law coming. That's been telegraphed by all sides of the ruling camp. And my worry is that this is going to be a redux of January 2018 with the EPN Ustawa, where it was an internal destabilizing tactic of Ziobro to come up with the worst, most offensive piece of legislation that would undermine Morawiecki, and that Morawiecki would have to answer for and to in the international stage. That's what happened. This came on the heels of Morawiecki's escalation to prime minister, elevated to prime minister. And he was doing a very good job in the international arena with the Eurocrats, with the Davos crowd, and so there was this internal attack. I wrote about it for the Jerusalem Post. I know Dobra Zmiana was not happy that I quote-unquote aired their dirty laundry internationally, especially given it was a dispute with Israel in the Jerusalem Post. As I've had to remind these people, I don't work for them. I'm not their lobbyist. I'm not their, I believe in a free, independent, strong, successful, prosperous, secure Poland.